What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing Whiplash. Now, Whiplash came out in 2014. It was directed by Damien Chazelle, who also directed La La Land, and who also directed First Man, two films that I adore. I love those films, and I will definitely review them probably after this, since, you know, I'm reviewing one Damien Chazelle film. I should probably review the other two. But I saw La La Land and First Man before I ever saw Whiplash, because Whiplash, we'll talk about in a minute, is by far his most hardcore movie. And as I said, I loved La La Land and First Man. Both of those films made Damien Chazelle like my absolute favorite new director who is still kind of new to the industry. And so naturally I was very excited to see Whiplash because I had watched so many reviews for it. I didn't get anything spoiled, but I'd watched so many reviews for it. So many people were giving it 10 out of 10s, A+. Whenever I'd look it up, I'd read reviews for it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this movie sounds amazing. I need to see it right now. And you know, I didn't watch it for the first time until last night because this movie, yeah. So it was obviously a movie that I was very excited to see, despite the fact that it had already been out for a few years, and now it's been out for 6 years? Yeah, 6 years. Oh my goodness, 6 years. If you actually want to count 2020 as a year. One thing I was worried about was that this film was not going to live up to everything I had heard about it, because everyone was praising this movie. Literally everyone. It got a decent amount of recognition at the 2015 Oscars, and everyone was building this movie up to some godly level of greatness, and I was just I don't know, what if it doesn't live up to it? I hope it will, but what if it doesn't? I watched this movie for the first time last night, and it did. Whiplash is one of the greatest films, not only that I've ever seen, but that has ever been made. In fact, I feel confident in saying that Whiplash is competition with possibly just one or two other movies as my favorite film of all time. Okay, so where do I start? Where do I begin with this movie? This is a spoiler-free review. I'm probably going to do a spoiler video just because there's so much that I want to talk about that I can't, because this is spoiler-free. Okay, let me just tell you what the movie's about. The movie is about this 19-year-old, his name is Andrew Neiman. He goes to a school called Schaefer, and he's a jazz drummer. He's really passionate about jazz drumming, and he wants to be great. But not only does he want to be great, he wants to be one of the greats. You know, Buddy Rich, you know, those types of people. He really wants to go down in history as one of the best jazz drummers. People like I said, Buddy Rich, Charlie Parker, all the legends, you know what I'm saying. And then JK Simmons' character, Terrence Fletcher, who is a very respected jazz teacher. He hears Andrew playing one day, and Andrew gets into this guy's class, which is great. For a while, this film broke me. and it didn't just break me, by the end of it, I was shattered. I was just thousands of shards of glass all over the floor, just in complete awe at what I had just watched. Whiplash is a filmmaking achievement, and it came out 6 years ago. Even 6 years later, I still see it as a filmmaking achievement in regards to acting and cinematography and writing especially. This is one of the best scripts ever written for a film. Now, there's one thing that I should elaborate about J.K. Simmons' character. As soon as Andrew gets into his class, J.K. Simmons just starts to beat the living crap out of Andrew. Psychologically, this film, it just beats you down as the main character is getting beat down. I'm actually kind of speechless. When I got in front of the camera to do this review, I was like, oh my goodness, I love this movie so much, I gotta review it right now. And then I was like, where do I start? What do I say? How do I, because I'm still kind of speechless, despite the fact that I watched it last night, and I had an entire night to think about it, sleep on it, things like that, just kind of gather my thoughts, and it's hard. Okay, let me just go through a list. The performances in this film are incredible. JK Simmons won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and it is well deserved. His performance in this, he is an absolute revelation in this film, okay? Because he's enjoyable as a lot of other characters, but I would say that this is easily, like, my favorite JK Simmons performance of all time. He's great as J Jonah Jamison, okay? But this film is much more challenging. It requires a lot more. And I really like how, as the film progresses, you kind of start, I mean, no spoilers, obviously, but you kind of start to see that Terrence Fletcher isn't just a really angry guy. And you actually do sympathize with him at one point. And it's like, the writing and the character development is top tier. And I don't want to push Andrew to the side here either. Miles Teller portrays Andrew Neiman in this film brilliantly. I actually do think he was deserving of an Oscar nomination. He didn't get nominated. JK Simmons got it. But, you know, give Miles Teller an award. He did a good job. This is a completely unforgiving film in every way. From the dialogue, to the performances, to the directing. In fact, Damien Chazelle actually said that he tried to make this sort of feel, he tried to direct it in the style of some of those, like, classic, really tight, tension, suspense-filled thrillers from, like, the 70s and 80s. And it shows. He uses a lot of those directing techniques here, and it actually lended itself very well to a drama. This is a very, very grounded, kind of dark, to be completely honest, portrayal of this guy who has such a drive and passion for this, and who is willing to do so much and willing to sacrifice so much to achieve it. It was brilliant. I'm still struggling for things to say, because I'm not, like, for a lot of movies I'll say this movie left me speechless, but then in my review I still say quite a bit. This is one of those movies where it's like, what? Like, how do I even... It's mesmerizing. So if this is an unsatisfying review for you, I apologize. It is also a very shocking film. If you don't watch the trailer, if you haven't seen the trailer, don't watch it. Just watch the movie, because there are so many parts that are just so shocking. One involving a phone call while someone is trying to get to somewhere. That's all I'm going to say. It was so unexpected. It came quite literally out of nowhere. And as I said, it was absolutely shocking. And like I said, that also kind of goes back to the unforgiving vibe that this movie gives off. This movie was able to take something like jazz drumming and put it into a film and make it one of the most enthralling, intriguing, edge-of-the-seat movie experiences that I've ever had in my life. Who knew that a movie about drumming would get that kind of praise? I mean, it's not like I want to be a drummer, but, like, I genuinely cared about this kid, and I genuinely wanted him to succeed. I wanted him to be the greatest of all time, even though, you know, the way he's kind of getting, like, JK Simmons is just constantly playing mind games with him. It's very much a psychological battle between these two people. And watching them go head to head is some of the best dramatic conflict ever. It's surprisingly physical too. Like, this is by far the closest music has ever gotten to sports in regards to, like, physical exertion. There are scenes in this movie where Andrew Neiman is practicing, and he's really in kind of a dark place, and he's just really, like, torturing himself outside of the classroom, and he's just, like, drumming and drumming. His, like, hands are bleeding and everything. That's another thing too. This movie actually has a surprising level of violence that I didn't really expect, but it really lended to the intensity of it all. And the final act of this film, like, the entire film is a non-stop thrill ride, but the final act just feels so in the moment, and it's like, this is happening right now, and there is no escape. I struggle, and I know I keep on saying this, I'm sorry, I struggle to comprehend, like, I can only dream of making a film this good one day. You know, I mean, I hope my films are pretty good, and, you know, people enjoy them, but I can only dream of making a film this great. I mean, I hope I do, but, like, it's such a hard thing to fathom. And this was his directorial debut. This was Damien Chazelle's first film. His first film. How many directors do you know whose first ever film is at this level of greatness? Some of them, sure. But how many for real? Maybe like one. As a directorial debut, this is probably one of, if not my favorite directorial debut of all time. Damien Chazelle is an absolute master. It is an extremely emotionally devastating movie at times, an extremely emotionally fulfilling movie at times, and there are also some very, very satisfying moments when some characters receive some comeuppance. I'm not gonna say any more, but like, I can say that for a large portion of this movie, I kind of looked like this. Very on edge. So guys, in the end, I apologize if this review was too vague for you. I apologize if the review wasn't satisfying enough for you, but this film did legitimately leave me kind of speechless. But if you want just general thoughts, well, you're about to get my grade. Whiplash is one of the best films that I've ever seen, easily in the top 5. It has incredible performances, incredible cinematography, an incredible script, and incredible score too. Like, the music in this movie is very, very good. The directing is top tier, just everything in this movie was perfect. I've said in the past that there are not many movies that I will call perfect. There have been films that I've given an A+ that I don't think are perfect, because, you know, an A+ is anywhere from like 96% to 100%. If I had a grade higher than A+, Whiplash would get it, because I actually do believe that Whiplash is one of those perfect movies. No flaws whatsoever. However, I do not have a grade higher than A+, so I'm just going to go ahead and give Whiplash an A+. This was Damien Chazelle's first film. His directorial debut. So guys, what did you think of Whiplash? Let me know down in the comments. Do you love it? Do you hate it? You don't hate it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.